Hey there warriors, in this video we are going to create a full stack admin panel in Next.js. We are going to get all this data from our database and display it on our users page. We are going to use Shadcn for our UI components, Drizzle for our ORM, we are going to store our database on cloud using Neon, and we are going to use tRPC to create our API routes. I'm going to put everything on a public GitHub repository. You can find that one as always in the description below. And while you are there, hit that like button to show me some orcish love. As always, we are starting a Next.js app from scratch. So I'm typing here npx create next app latest. And we are going to call our project orcish full stack admin. Yes, we are going to use TypeScript, we are going to use ESLint, Tailwind CSS, nope for the sources directory, we are using app router, and we are not going to customize the default import alias. So now our project is being installed, and that one should be quick, there it is, and I'm going right into that folder and running our orcish full stack admin. Our Next.js app is up and running, and first thing we are going to install is Shadcn. So I'm going to the Shadcn documentation. There we are going to get started button, installation, Next.js, and here we are going to run the npx Shadcn latest init command. So I'm going to run that here in the project's orcish full stack admin. Running the latest init command, typing yes. Then for the options, we are going to use everything same like for Next.js. We are going to use defaults. I don't know why is it taking now so long. Here it is, default and slate. And yes, we are using CSS variables. So that one should be good. It is installed. Now we can just put everything like this inside of our layout. Going to the layout file, and I gotta say, one member of the Horde recommended me this theme and it's awesome. Thank you, Trade Japan. Thanks, bro. Adding here the class instead of this one. Here we're adding the class name, and also we need the font and CN. So I'm replacing this whole part here like this, deleting this one, and then next thing we need to put the font family inside the Tailwind config, inside the extend. So I'm going to the Tailwind config here, extend, I had it, yeah, here it is. So here I'm putting the font family, and also I'm going to require it here in the beginning and just turn it to import like this. And now everything should be ready. We can now start installing our components. So currently in our Next.js, in our infrastructure, we have Shadcn. Next thing I'm going to open is Drizzle Next.js. So we need to install Drizzle in order to use our database. So I'm going to install Drizzle ORM and Neon Database Serverless. Actually, I started using Neon. It's pretty useful because I'm not keeping the database locally. I'm keeping it on the cloud on their side. So I'm going to add these two, pm add Drizzle ORM and Neon Database Serverless. So adding those dependencies, and we are going to create this one, the Drizzle TS. I'm going to create the DB directory in root directory here. So creating DB and inside drizzle.ts. And we are also going to need schema.ts. So I'm just going to copy paste this entire file from here, from the documentation inside the drizzle.ts like this. I'm just going to separate it a little bit so it looks nice and neat. Then I'm going to kill this boring guy from here. And next thing we need to do is to create the drizzle config file. So we are creating this one also in the root directory, drizzle.config.ts. So I'm creating that one here, drizzle.config.ts, and copy pasting the entire thing. So we need this drizzle kit obviously. Did we install that one? No, we installed the Drizzle, what was it called? The Drizzle ORM. Okay, so we need to install that one also. It was probably somewhere in the beginning. Guess here it is. I missed it somehow. So we are adding the dev dependency like this, add Drizzle kit. And then next thing after the config file, we just need to create our schema. So I already created that file, the schema.ts. I'm copy pasting it here, and we are going to create users for our admin panel to display them in the users table. So we are going to rename this to do in users, and for the ID, we're not going to use integer. I think this documentation is a little bit old. We need to use UUID like this from the PG core, from the same thing, and then for the it's going to be the primary key obviously, and the default value should be random like this. And this way we are always going to get the ID when we create our new user. We don't have to assign actually the ID. So next thing is going to be email, then we need our username, let's say username, and we're going to put created at instead of done like this, and that one is going to be timestamp. Is it timestamp? Yes, it's also from the PG core like this, and I need to rename it. So this one is email, this one is username, this one is created at inside the database, and it shouldn't be null, and also default should be now like this. And here these two should be both unique, so both email and username should be unique for our user, and that should be enough. If you want something else, you can add whatever you want to users. Of course, we would add password also, but we are not going to do the authentication in this video. We are just going to display these users in admin panel. So next thing we need to check is the Neon. So Neon is, here it is, the serverless Postgres. And if you check the pricing, you have the free tier, which is pretty good, I would say. You can use it for some simple projects, especially for something like this, to test it out. So I have the account on their side. I'm using it for my OrcDev, but we are going to create a new project for this, and that one is going to be Orcish Fullstack Admin. And I'm just going to leave everything as it is, the defaults. So now I need to take my key. I'm going to copy that one, and as we saw here in the drizzle.ts, we have the Neon database URL. So that's actually this key that we are going to use. So I'm going to create the new file environment, and there I'm going to call it just like that, Neon database URL equals, and then I'm going to copy my API key that I got here from Neon, and now we should already be able to run the migration and create this table that we created in our schema. So let's see the command. That one should be in the Drizzle documentation. Here it is, npx drizzle kit push, and this one should push our table. Okay, we're missing .env. We're adding that dependency installed, and now we're clicking npx drizzle kit push, and it looks good. Let's check the Neon console. So here, if we go to tables, we should see our users. Yeah, here it is, and we have ID, email, username, and created at, and we have successfully created our table on Neon from Drizzle. So we can now actually write some ORM queries. Nice. So now we have Shadcn, we have Drizzle and Neon. Next thing we need is tRPC to actually create API routes. So I'm writing tRPC Next.js. And that one is opening setup with Next.js page, and there we have exactly what we need. So we are installing here tRPC server next, client next, React query, then here tRPC for next, 10 stack React query, and Zod. So we need all of these in order to create our API routes, which are going to be extremely fast. And adding all those dependencies, and next thing we are going to do, I would skip all this, so we need to create a tRPC router and configure everything to work on our project. Now, this one is much faster for me just to copy and paste from my other projects, because it's something that is not like that you should write every time. You can just copy paste the same thing. If you want to see the implementation of tRPC and what is each file doing in details, you can just check my tRPC implementation video on the channel. So for that, I'm going to open the AI framework where I have implemented already the tRPC. So I'm just going to copy paste entire server folder inside of our Orcish Fullstack admin. And then here from the API, I'm going to copy entire API folder, but I'm just going to delete this auth. I'm going to leave the tRPC part. So like this, and here I'm deleting the auth there. And last thing we need is the tRPC provider. So I'm searching that one here. Here it is, tRPC provider. So that is in the components. So I'm just going to copy the provider and put it inside the components. And then there we are going to have UI with Shadcn, and inside I'm pasting this file, tRPC provider. So here we have to shoot our client, which is here, and also we need to create next public app URL in our environment, which in our case is going to be localhost, like this, HTTP localhost and port 3000. So now we need to go to our layout file and wrap our children in the tRPC provider. Here it is, like this. And we are just going to wrap everything up. And that's it. Our tRPC should now work. Let's just test it out quickly. So we need to go to our router here, not that, but tRPC and then routers, and I have some GPT here from the AI framework. I'm going to delete all that stuff, and instead of completion, we're going to say get, and this is going to be users router, like this, and we can just remove everything from here so we are not confused by all the stuff, and this one also, and this and this and this. Good. Okay, now we are clear to create our API routes, and here we are just going to call public procedure, and then it is going to be a query which is going to return to us array with OrcDev, like this. So now we can actually try this out on our page. I'll just quickly rename this one to users and update the imports. This one is the users router, and it should be updated here as well. So that's now users router, and that one should be good. So now we can go to our page, and here we can call our users equal to tRPC from the server client. Then here we're using, oh, it's again GPT. Okay, I'll rename that, and we are just calling get and then use query, like this. And this one should be the client component. We're going to change that one. We are just testing if our tRPC is working. So here I'm just going to put somewhere, let's say here, users.data, and I'm going to put it into the JSON parse. So let's see if that one is working. Is it okay? Nope. I probably need to restart it because I installed a bunch of stuff. And let's see now, what do we have displayed on our page? Not a valid JSON, it should be stringify and not parse. And now, here it is, OrcDev. It's coming directly from the API route, and we can see it here in the network. If I refresh, here it is. It's gpt.get, which is wrong. That one should be, where is that one? In the, here it is. So it should be users, and then on page here that should be users, like this. And now it should be good, users.get, and we are going to use this API route to call Drizzle and to get users from our database. So now I can delete all this stuff from here. We are not going to use this anymore, and we're also going to delete everything by default from Next.js, so we can start from scratch. Now we have our Shadcn, Drizzle, Neon, and tRPC, so we basically have our configuration ready to create some API calls and to get the data from the database. So now we are going to create the admin page from Shadcn. So here on Shadcn, I'm going to the blocks page, and we are going to use exactly the same admin area, this one that we used before in the empty orcish admin, and I'm copying that one, and I'm just going to paste it for now here into this page. So we are just going to add export default, so it works in the Next.js, and now we have to add all these components. So we need badge, button, card, drop down menu, input, and sheet. So going here in the components, just to take the command, here it is, button, and we are adding one by one. So first thing is the button, then we need the drop down menu. After that, we are going to add badge, like this. Then we need sheet, and what else do we have? Input and card. Then we need our input, and finally it's card. So now we should be good. Let's see here in the code if we don't have any complaints. And when we check our page, here it is. We have our admin page ready, just like that. This was really fast. Like, this is my favorite thing to do from Shadcn. We're going to separate now a little bit components so that we don't have like everything in one page file. So I'm going to search for the sidebar, and that's usually I'm searching it always by hidden, because it's always hidden and then it's visible after some, for example here after medium, it's becoming a block. So I'm going to change it to aside, and now my closing element should be also renamed. Yes, here it is. And I'm going to move that one into a new component, which I'm going to call sidebar.tsx. And here I'm using the snippets RFC to create the functional component, pasting everything here, changing it to the capital first letter, and I'm going to include all the things I need here. So I'm going to go quickly. Let me just close everything else and save the page. So on page, there should probably be, yes, these icons that I'm going to import here, and I'm going to remove the ones that are not used. Then we need here button, and we need badge. This one, again, small tip, here you can see where are the red lines on this minimap. So we need the card. This one should be easier to import just like this. And I'm adding that one, hitting enter, and now that should be good. So now I'm going to add it here to our page. So it was, let's see where, here I'm adding the sidebar from our components. So if we check now our page, we have our sidebar, which is a separated component, and here we can remove also a couple of things. Now the second thing is, which is also hidden, it's this whole sheet, that's the mobile nav bar, and I'm also going to remove that one from here. So creating new here mobile nav.tsx, again using the snippets and pasting everything here. So I'm going to rename this to mobile nav like this. And now we again need a bunch of icons. So I'm just going to copy paste them from here like this. Nice, removing what is not used. And now we need sheet and button. So that one we can remove this one from here, this one, and we can add button and also sheet from our components, sheet trigger also, and sheet content, link from Next.js, and here badge from our component, and searching again for the red lines to add a card. Oh, I deleted it from here. Okay, removing what is not used. And do we have a card? No. Also sheet, I could just copy it from here, doesn't matter. And adding card header, title, and description. Oh, and content also. Great. So now here we can add our mobile nav. Okay, link is not used also here. And now we can check sheet is not defined. That's in mobile nav. Sheet. How are we not getting it here? Maybe I didn't save. Here it is. So now if I put it like this, we're getting the button. So this is our mobile nav, which we separated, and we can now even put everything inside of our layout file. So if we go here, we can also separate, I think, the header. Yeah, here it is. And we're looking for the closing here. And we are just going to, so our goal is to leave only main inside of our pages. So I'm moving the header into a new component, calling it header.tsx. And here again, the snippets, pasting everything. We're calling the nav here. Search. Is that one from the Lucid React? Is that, yeah, that's only the icon. Then input, and we need the drop down menu. So I'm going to copy paste it from here like this. Nice. And now we need button from our components and circle user from our icons. So that one should be good. Now here on page, we can remove all things that are not being used, and there are a bunch of things that are not used. So that's great. Now it already looks much better. So I'm calling the header. I didn't rename it, I think, to the capital. Yes. And now I'm calling it here from the components, and it should work. Let's see. It's working. If we delete it just to check if we are doing the right thing, great. So now we can move all these components to our layout. So I'm going to cut everything before the main part, and I'm going to put it here inside our tRPC provider. And then after the main, I'm going to remove these two divs and put them here below our children. And here I'm just going to call the sidebar and the header like this. And now everything should work exactly the same, but we separated the components and we have now pretty decent structure to start building all other pages. We can just change the main part and our page is going to be different, but our sidebar, header and mobile nav is going to remain the same. So let's now quickly just include here the mod toggle for dark mode. So that's also pretty fast to install. I'm adding the next themes here. And then we need our theme provider, which we are going to put also inside of our components, theme provider.tsx, and copy pasting that one. And we are just going to put it here inside of our layout again. So layout, we're going to put it inside the tRPC provider and calling the theme provider from our components, closing that one, and we're just going to wrap everything around that one. So now we need our mod toggle component, and that one is also going in here, mod toggle.tsx, copy pasting it, and inside of our header, let's see where can we put it here by the user. So I can search for my account, and I'm going to put it here, mod toggle. You saw already that dark mode is working because it's on my system settings, so we can change it to light, dark, and system. Pretty cool. And also we can change our theme. I'm going to put some other theme, for example orange, and copy that one, and we are just going to globals CSS and changing this whole thingy. And now we have our orange theme with orange buttons and orange outlines and everything. Yeah, here it is. Nice. So let's now create that users page. We have here customers. So I'm going to rename customers in the sidebar to users, and I'm going to sidebar component. I'm going to close everything else. So here customers, I'm going to change it to users. And we are going to link this one to our users page. So we need to create users folder inside of our app directory. So there I'm creating users, and inside I'm creating a new file, page.tsx, and I'm copy pasting our page from our default index page. We're just going to call it here users, and we can here just put users. So now if we here click on users, we are going to users page, and as you can see, we are keeping our header and sidebar, and it already looks pretty awesome. Let's handle now quickly this active state and sidebar links and everything. So what is the problem currently is that we have all the links hard coded. So both in sidebar and mobile nav we have the same links repeated, so we need that one created somewhere externally and then imported inside the sidebar and mobile nav the same thing. So we need all these links. I'm going to create one array that we are going to use, so I can call it just nav items, and that one is going to be an array full of objects where we are going to have label, and we are going to have the, let's call it href. So this one is going to be users obviously, and the label is going to be users like this. And now we can create the same thing for all the links. So this one is dashboard, that one is going to be on the index. Then we have our orders, that one is going to orders. Then we have users, we already created that. Is it? No, we have products before users, so that's here, and products with small p, and last thing is analytics. So adding that one also, And now we can go through these nav items and just do the same link for all things. So like this, nav items, and then map, and through each nav item we just do this link. And for our key we are going to put nav item dot label, and this href is going to be href from here. And let's see now, oh, we also need the icons, so we are going to put icons also in those objects. Let's just see if it's working. It's working okay. We just need to put icons, so I'm going to save this one by copying it and then just return what I had previously, so I can copy all the icons like this. So I'm going to put this one here, and we are going to copy the home icon for icon, and here I'm placing the home icon like this. And then we have the next one, so I can delete this part. Then we need the shopping cart. It's going in orders here like this. Then we are deleting that one also. Next thing is the package for our products, and that one is here. So here we are creating icon, and then we are putting our package. Then next thing is users, and in the end line chart. Here users, and then here we said line chart, and same class name and everything. Now we can just add here our icon. So here we are just going to put nav item dot icon and delete all these links that are left. So let's see now how it looks. It looks great, except we have dashboard repeated here. So we need here our label like this. That's it. Great. Now we are going to use path name. So that's use path name Next.js to detect which currently page we are on. So that one should be easy. It's just like this. Use path name from next navigation. And we are going to put it here, and it needs to be a client component for that one. So we're adding use client, and we just need to call this path name and compare it inside of our component to our href. So here, in case that it is the current page, so we are checking if our current, how did we call it here, path name, if our path name equals to our nav item dot href. In that case, we are going to add, I think it's background muted. So let's see. And now if we check here, yes, so our current is users, and we just need to put the text. So it's text primary also. It's orange because we changed our theme, and there it is. So now whichever the page is active, we have only dashboard and users, then that one is going to be highlighted here. Now we can just add the same thing in our mobile nav. So I'm going to export this nav item, and inside the mobile nav I'm going to import the same thing, and we are going to do everything exactly the same. So let's just see if everything is written in the same way. I think it is. So we can just copy and paste the entire thing from our sidebar. So here for all links except this Acme Inc. I don't know what is that one. And we're going to paste everything here and call our nav items from our sidebar. And we also need the path name thingy for the highlighted part. So we are going to copy it, put it here, and call here use client to mark it as a client component. We have here a bunch of things that are not used, like this home line chart. Oh, that's because we are now importing everything. Okay. Removing that one and removing badge also. So now we are going to use this path name here and it should work. Let's see. So now if we move it and use it here, yes, it's working. So now when we go to dashboard, nice. So now both of our sidebar and mobile nav are working dynamically. So if we want to add some new item to our nav items, we can just go to the sidebar and add it here on one place, and it is going to be added in both. So analytics here in the sidebar, and it's going to be added here in the mobile nav. So that is awesome. Now we can move to actually create our users table. So we are going to create that one here on our users page. For that, we are again going to use the blocks page from Shadcn. So here we are going to steal this one. The orders, we can take there are probably somewhere the users. Let's see if there is table of users, something like, no, we are going to take products. So we are going to take these orders, actually, not products, and we are going to copy paste that one into our users page here. So I'm going to replace this main and everything like this. And oh, it's actually copied the whole thing. So I'm just going to rename it to users, export default. And here we need new component, and that one is going to be table. So we're adding the table component. And do we need something else? Nothing. So this one should be good. Now when we install the table component, let's see how it looks. It's failing to compile from some reason because I removed something. No, badge is there. It should be there. Oh, here it is. Okay, so now we have our table. We are just going to adjust it to our needs. So we need ID, email, username, and date. So we are going to remove this amount. Let's see, where is that one? This, and also the table body. Let's see, where is now that one? So how does it look now? We just need to remove everything where we have this $250, removing that, and now we have $150. So we are removing basically all the table cells that we don't need, the 350, the 450, and what was the third number? 450 again. And now we should be good. Yes. So now we need to make a call to our Drizzle database and to get our actual users from our Neon and display them here in this table. So we can go to Drizzle ORM, and here we have get to do's. So we are going to copy this entire line and put it inside of our users router. So we are going to the router users, and here instead of this return OrcDev, we are putting return await, and then db. We're calling db from Drizzle, and it's not to do, it's in our case users from the schema, and this one is users ID, and this ascending is coming from Drizzle ORM. So this one should now call everything from our Neon database, except we just need to create some users. So we have here our 8 orcs, and we can now display them here in our app. So I'm going to call the tRPC inside of our users page here. So because we are using tRPC, we need to put it to be a client component. And now here I'm calling the users, and that one is trpc.users.get. Get like this, and we are going to use query for that one like this. So now if we actually console log our users from here and go to our page, and here we see in the console that we are getting an object and we have some errors. We're going to fix that one. And here in our data we have array of 8 things, and those are our orcs that are coming from our Postgres database. And that's really cool. So now everything that is left is just to display them here inside of this table. Let's do that one. So we are going to our users page, deleting this console log, and now here, instead of these table rows, we're just going to leave one table row. Let's delete all of them to here. So we're leaving only one, and we are going to go through our users. So we are going users.data.map, and inside we are catching each user, and we are going to display table row for each user. So we're going to take as a key here our ID. So that's definitely unique. And we are going to display, instead of this email, user.email. Then what do we have also here? Sale. So we need to change this a little bit. So first one is let's just show the ID, then we can show the email, after that our username, and in the end date. So here first cell is going to be ID, then for sale we're going to say user.email, and after that we have this fulfilled thingy. That one shouldn't be a badge, we can just leave it like this, username, and in the end user.created@. So let's see how is that one looking, and it's pretty fast. You see when I refresh, it's coming really fast inside. So here we have just this Liam Johnson, where is that thingy, delete, and here it is. It's looking really great. So we have our real data coming from our Postgres database from here, where you can see. So if I add something else here, it's going to come up also here in our users page. We just have this background. I don't know where is it coming from. Oh, here. So that one was probably highlighted from some reason. And if we delete that one, yeah, now it's looking awesome. This is definitely the easiest way to put backend inside your Next.js application. I hope you warriors enjoyed this one, and I'm definitely going to create more content like this, so make sure that you hit that subscribe button below.